All right, we're going to go ahead and start with another Grove Low chart video. This is going to be the net capacity. What is the net capacity lifting from the main boom over the side? We're going to go ahead and get started here. And as usual, we're going to start with our deductions page. A little bit faster here. So we know we've got a 12,920 pound line pull. So there's our 12,920. That's always going to be the same. Now we're going to go down here. We got our lifting from the main boom over the side, so that's going to be our 360-degree chart. Outriggers, of course, are always extended. We have 7,800 pounds of counterweight, removable counterweight. All right, our next one, moving on down the line, is going to be our 100-foot main boom. So we're going to go 100 foot of main boom. Then we're going to add in our radius down here at the bottom, like normal. Radius is going to be 62 feet. Okay, then following on down the line, NA, we don't have any deduction there, any other deduction, a random deduction, something like a gross load or something, a pit load that we're picking. Followed by that, we're going to have a auxiliary head. Our auxiliary head is, we know, 143 pounds. So we go up here, 143. Let's move it up just a bit so we keep it out of the way of the rest of the deductions. Then we're going to move over to our third column where our extensions are. This is going to be a description of what type of deduction it's going to be. So now we've got our 32-foot fixed extension jib stowed. So here's our 30-foot sorry, wrong one. 32-foot fixed extension boom, and it's going to be stowed. So that's going to give us a deduction of 267 pounds. So 267. So we're going to move that up a little bit. Yeah, we're going to keep moving it up just a wee bit there. I want to keep that keep everything lined up so it's just easier to see. Now, we're done with that. We're going to move down to our next one. We have a 50-ton 4 shiv, 4 parts of line. Okay, this is a little more parts of line than we normally have. So 45-ton, 50-ton shiv, 4 parts of line. So we have our 50-ton shiv, 4 parts of line. That is a 1,285 pound deduction. Let's go over here. 1,285 pound deduction. We'll move that up a little bit as we've been doing, just to keep everything lined up, make it easier. So 1,285 pounds. Next one we're going to have is our 7.5 ton. Again, another 10 foot below the tip, so that automatically gives us our auxiliary line. So we got our 7.5 ton headache ball is 338 pounds. So go ahead, ball 338, and then forward slash below, or what I've been doing, 10 foot below. So just to 10 below. Go ahead and move that up where it needs to sit. Everything's kind of crushed in here just a little bit, but we're going to keep it separated as best we can. So since we know that we have that 10-pound deduction, we can go ahead and automatically put that into our deductions here. We'll kind of, like I said, keep it lined up best as you can. You don't want to throw it off because it might throw you off when you're doing a deduction. So mainline, we don't know what we've got for mainline, but back up here, we're at our rigging. After the ball, we have 150 pounds of rigging. So we go ahead, 150. That here and move that up. All right, now I think that's all our deductions. We'll go ahead and we'll count our deductions again. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 so far. So we know we got the deductions we need. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our range diagram. Range diagram, we're going to go, we have 100 foot of main boom at a 62-foot radius. So we're going to circle here, 100 foot of main boom at a 60. So we have a 60-foot radius. We're going to go ahead and move over to 70. So we're going to follow that line from 100 foot, traveling down to our 70-foot radius. So we are in the middle. We're in the middle between our 70. You see how we're in the middle of a tip tip height. The rule when you're between tip heights, you always go to the next highest tip height that is on the chart. Never interpolate. So that's going to put us right here. So from here, we're going to go ahead, trace on over to the tip height from ground. That's going to give us an 80-foot tip height. We have our tip height now, so we can go ahead, put that in 80 foot. So we'll go ahead and move that just a little bit closer, make it a little easier to see there. You notice how I'm putting everything in. I'm constantly moving through the charts. I'm never moving back. So now we can move on to our actual load chart. Our actual load chart is going to be, we know we have the 360-degree chart. We're lifting main capacity of the boom, lifting over the side. That's going to be our 360-degree chart that we already have seen here that we've written down, because that's one of the first thing that you can write down in the question. So we are at 80-foot tip height. So we have 100 foot. And so that 80-foot tip height is going to be our line deduction if we have one once we find our gross capacity here. So we got 100 foot of main boom. So let's find our 100 foot of main boom. 100 foot of main boom. I'm going to highlight that at a 62-foot radius. So we are going to be between radiuses here again, like the last problem we have. So we're going to be between. So we got a 62-foot radius. We're going to be between. There is no 62 foot, so we're going to be between 60 and 65. So then we're going to come on over here. We're going to follow that intermediate line between charts here. Follow it on over till we get to right here. Follow this down because this is the column we're going to be working in, right? And if you want, you can just follow it on past, because that way you're not getting confused and you know where to stop at. You know where to stop your line at. So we're going to stop right here. So between 60 and 65, we need to determine in this 100-foot boom section column, we need to determine which one has the lowest net capacity. So our lowest net capacity, 60 and 65, so 62. Gross weight, we're going to go, so we're going to go ahead and go to, we have 7,950 and 7,080 between 60 and 65 foot radius. So we're going to go ahead and go with 7,080. That's our lowest capacity, our most conservative chart. So we know what our gross capacity is. It's 7,080 pounds. That's what our gross capacity, our crane, is good for without any deductions. So now we know 7,080, so that is less than 12,920. So that means since this number is bigger, this number is bigger than that one. Since our line pull is bigger than that one, we cannot divide we cannot divide 780 by 12,920. It doesn't work for this equation anyway. So what we're going to do is we will add, we know that for a fact we need one part of line to make that pick, because it's 7,000 pounds. We need at least one part of line to make that pick. So we know that means we have, how many parts of line? We have, oh, I forgot to make our little mark over here that I normally make, and it's 4 parts of line, x4. So we'll go ahead like I normally do, x4, 4 parts of line. So we know we only need one part of line, so that means we have a 3-part line deduction. So we'll do 80, which is a pound a foot, so it'll be 80 times 4. Our line deduction is going to be 80 times 4 or 80 times 3, because it's a pound a foot. So 1 times 80 is 80. So we'll do 3 times 80 because we have 3 parts. 3 times 80 equals 240. That is going to be our line deduction for this. This is going to be the extra weight that we have to add to our load chart, based on what our load chart says. So now we have all of our deductions that we can have. I think we have 7 deductions total. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deductions. So we can go ahead and add up all our deductions together, or our weight to our load, in addition to the load or the dead weight, however you want to look at it. So 143 plus 267 plus 1,285 plus, oops, I need to redo that, 143, I had a mishap with the calculator, plus 267 plus 1,285 plus 338 plus 150 plus 10 plus 240 equals 2,433. That is going to be all our deductions, 2,433. All our deductions together are going to equal that. So we can go ahead, come over here, put this in our equation, 2,433, and we will subtract that from 7,080. So 7,080 minus 2,433, and our answer is 4,647. 4,647. And then we'll come over here, we'll look, see what we've got for answers. 4,647 pounds. That is our net capacity. So that being said, we're going to go ahead in this slide, and we're going to move on to our next slide. You notice how we're getting progressively faster on these. And if I wasn't explaining stuff, we could probably have it down to about 5 minutes. But I'm kind of trying to explain stuff for you guys a little better, get you a little bit faster at it, and so on. So that slides up, and we'll move on to the next one.